So, in terms of funding,
Yes.
the money comes from a couple of different sources, right?
Right. So from our organization, we applied to the Federal Provincial Affordable Housing Program, which is administered by the city. So basically you have three levels of government that you're working with on the capital side. And then some support dollars are coming from the Ministry of Community and Social Services, which is a separate provincial ministry.
So you got the feds,
Yes.
the city,
Right.
and the province.
Right. And two provincial ministries because they have it's housing as well as social services.
And you deal with all of them.
And we're dealing with all of them currently. That's right.
So they all need all need the file folder and the letters of support and all the rest of it.
Right. It's been
So how much time does that take of your day?
Yeah, it's been the most complicated month of my life.
Dealing with all three levels.
Yes.
All three levels, sometimes with two departments in the same third level or second level.
Right, and all with their own different policy directives and timelines, and they're all really hardworking, dedicated people, but it's been complicated for us on our end.
Why can't we seem to get that stuff streamlined? I don't understand.
Well, I think to be fair, the idea, like you just mentioned, the idea of people with intellectual disabilities moving into regular housing is pretty new. What we're doing is new, and they will need to adjust and adapt for that in future, and I'm sure they will. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, but, you know, I serve on a committee, and this committee that we deal with, we've had the opportunity of speaking to a minister or two about the silos that exist. And it's not out of malice. They just exist. There's a silo over here for health. So you say, you know, we're dealing with a person, and this is not your case, but in some other cases, we're dealing with a person who has concurrent problems. Perhaps there's a substance abuse problem concurrent with perhaps a mental health issue and joblessness at the same time. Right. So you got the health silo, you got the community social services silo, you got the housing silo, and you might have a legal, because there's some court interaction silo, and they all want to deal with this person from their own perspective. And the social worker who wants to work with this person spends more time dealing with the silos than with the person.
Yes. Well, in fact, now you make me sad because Ministry of Health is also often involved in the lives of people that we support. So that is a factor. And it is unfortunate. It's very hard to basically get these different bureaucracies working together on behalf of a person. They tend to work on behalf of policy directives, which is just the way government operates.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult.
We got to fix it.
Yes, I agree.
Your program, for example, is very innovative in that it's not. You sort of rejected from the start the idea of institutionalized. Let's build a block of apartments over there or a townhouse unit over there. You just said no. Let's try and integrate into the community, and let's have the individuals, to the greatest extent possible, be self-supporting. We give them all the support that they need and want.
Right. Well, we were paying a lot of attention to what the community living movement was doing, and although we were not initially a part of that, those philosophies were clearly the way of the future, and so we got started on the right path, and I've joined that movement in recent years, and it's been very helpful.
Incredibly cost-effective, like unbelievably cost-effective.
Well, that's the other, the secret that doesn't get out too much. It is incredibly cost-effective, but also the potential for quality of life is exponentially higher than in an institution.
Such as? Give us some numbers.
Well, no, I'm talking about falling in love and, going to the candy store and enjoying chocolate bar. I mean, these are things we all take for granted, but you're not going to experience that. None of us plans for our life goal to be in an institution because we know the freedoms and opportunities and risks are not there for us. We all want that.
So if there's a dollars and cents issue, there's also a quality of life issue.
Absolutely.
And I know it's a major concern for you that if we are going to follow this approach, if it has now been society's decision that we will no longer operate, quite frankly, in many ways, wonderful centers like the Rideau Regional Center, where the care level was so wonderful for many of these folks who have been there all of their lives. Yeah. If we're not going to do it that way anymore, you want it to be even better, or at the very least, as good. And I share your concern that especially if you're running into the not in my backyard syndrome.
Well, and there's no going back. We're not reopening regional centers.
No.
So I think we need to take a little bit more of a proactive approach and say, these people are now a part of their community, our community, and let's find out more about them and how we can be supportive, because rejecting them isn't going to be good for anybody.
So if you are trying to convince a particular apartment block that you would like to rent a unit, and this unit is going to be for a person who doesn't necessarily function the way the rest of the folks there do. And I'm obviously trying to skirt around using words like normal and all that stuff. And if you get resistance, are you finding success in finding folks who will go to bat for you?
Yes, and that was a really nice surprise, because there had been a little group of people that kind of banded together to try and reject some individuals, and we didn't know about it, but quite a number of people who found out that this was going on sent letters saying, this is ridiculous, these are wonderful people, I would not have a better neighbor, and these other people just need to smarten up.
Is it working out that way?
It is.
You know, are you finding that the attempt to integrate is working?
Yes, but there's been some pain, especially for the individual who's just going about his business and then basically feels hated by someone that they don't even know. That is very hard to handle, and a lot of stress as a result, and on families as well, who are just desperately want this to work, and the last thing they need is someone for no reason deciding they don't like their adult child.
Yeah. And again, thank you for one of the times that you came in, you brought in the dad of one of the youngsters who had now sort of gone out on his own in life. And this was, you know, we're all afraid of having them leave the nest. This was a huge decision by the family to say, yes, you can go out and live on your own. And you just hope that when that happens, the family can count on the new neighbors to be supportive of that loved one.
That's a wonderful comment. I would ask people to think about the individual, think about that parent who's taking that risk and loves their kid just as much as you love yours. And before you make that, you know, ignorant comment, kind of take a minute and just think about those people.
And pull your kids in. Make sure they understand, too.
Absolutely. That's the next thing that has to be done. And it's happening in schools with more and more inclusion. But to start talking about there's different people in the world, and that's okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Keenan. It's always great to have you come in and have these chats.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Appreciate it. Keenan Wellar, who's the co-founder of LiveWorkPlay. Get more details on him at liveworkplay.ca. Community Living Ottawa. 820.